Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here tonight. And of course, happy Saturday to you. I'm Regina Ahn. It's the race for a vaccine. Nearly 4,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine is set to arrive in Spokane in just 1 week. The Spokane Regional Health District says Spokane County will receive 3,900 COVID-19 vaccine doses in the first shipment. No word yet on which healthcare providers will get the first doses or exactly which day. But what we do know today is that the state will receive more than 62,000 Pfizer vaccine doses by next week. And the first group that will receive the vaccine will be high-risk healthcare workers and people in long-term care facilities. Yesterday, the FDA approved emergency use authorization of Pfizer's coronavirus vaccine. In the meantime, Coug Nation stepping in. WSU will help with vaccine distribution efforts. During a town hall, officials said they have plenty of ultra-cold freezer capacity to help store those vaccines. And across state lines now, Idaho is set to receive at least 13,000 doses of the coronavirus vaccine. The Panhandle Health District saying that 1,950 doses of the vaccine will be available in North Idaho. The first shipment of the vaccine is expected to arrive next week as well. Idaho's COVID-19 Vaccine Advisory Committee recommends frontline healthcare workers caring for COVID patients and long-term care facility residents to be the first to receive the vaccine. Those in direct contact with COVID-19 patients will be high priority for the vaccine, and the state expects to receive another 89,000 total vaccine in the second and third shipments. Well, so far, this disease has killed more than 1.6 million people globally, including almost 300,000 here in the United States. The vaccine approval comes as this pandemic is taking its heaviest toll yet on the American public. Friday, we saw more deaths in a single day, more than 3,300 since the pandemic began. The virus has killed more than 295,000 Americans. Also on Friday, a record 231,000 new cases were reported. That brings the total of number of infections in this country to nearly 16 million. New at 5 now. During this pandemic, our homes have become our workplace and even our school. But for some people without affordable housing, every day is a worry about making rent. Our Morgan Trout learned about a new apartment complex meant for those struggling financially.
Spokane's housing shortage has only been exacerbated by the pandemic, but a nonprofit is starting construction on a low-income rental home development that will allow 46 families to live affordably. The Spokane City Council just approved a small sales tax increase to pay for incoming affordable housing, but Community Frameworks already had a jump on it.
So a project like Cinto Commons is going to be one part of a larger solution, but we obviously need way more housing. Literally thousands of units are needed to fill the gap that exists.
With the help of federal and state funding, CEO Deb Elzinga says Cinto Commons will be for individuals or families making between $16,000 and $40,000 a year.
We've dedicated half of the apartment homes to go to people who have been experiencing homelessness. People who have already been struggling, the poor and our Black and communities of color, have been particularly hit hard.
Since they've received funding, they are able to keep rent costs low, units starting at around $250 a month. This may sound too good to be true, but Development Director John Chatburn says there is a reason for that.
The way it was funded is we have very, very little debt. I think our debt service is really small. So that allows us to have flexibility with the rents and to keep them at a manageable level.
And if we can't help those that are in difficult situations to have a better quality of life, I just don't think we are doing well as a community.
The development is scheduled for completion in December of 2021, but applications will come out a few months prior. Reporting in Spokane, Morgan Trout, KREM 2 News.
We do have some breaking news tonight right out of Western Washington. A violent clash between pro-Trump supporters and counter-protesters in Olympia. Police have declared it a riot after one person has been shot at the Capitol. The suspect was detained and no word yet on the victim's condition. We'll have more updates coming up at 6 and again at 10 and 11 tonight. Well, today families of inmates at Airway Heights Correction Center protested over the COVID-19 outbreak at the facility. They also protested the conditions inmates have to live with in those isolation units.
We would like to have communication with our loved ones. When we don't know what's going on with them, it brings us anxiety and fear. And I know a lot of people, families can't sleep.
I just miss them a lot because I don't get to talk to them every day. And so it just makes me feel a lot more happier that I'm out here trying to be his voice.
We love you guys. We're here.
Tobin Sather, an inmate at the correctional facility, reported that 70 to 80 inmates are forced to use one toilet. Sather also reported that many inmates haven't been able to take showers or have clean clothes in weeks. Airway Heights Correction Center has reported 792 cumulative cases of COVID-19 among inmates since November 30th, the most of any Washington correctional facility. Turning the page now to a little bit of weather. Friday snow hasn't melted away just yet, and it looks like more snow is on the way. Meteorologist Michelle Boss live from her home tonight. Michelle, when can we expect the next round of snow, and how much do you think we'll see?
Well, it looks like we're just going to be looking at some light snow showers coming in late tomorrow. So for the rest of the evening and the overnight hours, still looking pretty quiet. You're not going to be waking up to any new snow tomorrow morning. Here's a look at the next 12 hours. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies. Through the evening, temperatures falling into the middle 20s, and through the overnight hours, cloudy skies, but no additional snow. In fact, we just kind of have a bunch of low clouds and some light fog across the region right now, but not even seeing any precipitation from the Cascades on westward just yet. Snowfall estimates for the 24-hour period from late tomorrow morning through the day on Monday, generally light amounts. About an inch in Spokane, could see some slightly higher amounts in the higher points of the city, and then 1 to 2 inches as you get into North Idaho, out towards the Silver Valley and down towards the Idaho Palouse. But for the most part, we're looking at 1 to 2 inches across the inland Northwest, slightly higher amounts also in the Cascade Passes. Right now, temperatures are below freezing across much of the region, 29 in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, those slightly above freezing out in Moses Lake, and mid-30s right now in Lewiston. Here's the look at the next 3 days. Light snow moving in late tomorrow morning and continuing through tomorrow evening. Just a few flurries on Monday. No additional accumulations expected. Highs in the low 30s both days. And another round of light snow on the way for Tuesday. Slightly warmer temperatures as we climb into the middle and upper 30s.
Now, your Northern Quest Sports Desk.
Okay, in sports, Washington State football's game against Cal was canceled earlier today. The Golden Bears had a positive coronavirus test result before kickoff, which put other players into isolation due to the contact tracing. Karthik Venkatraman joining us live now with what we know. Karthik, what's next for the Cougs?
Yeah, well, what we know is less than 2 hours from kickoff when we got news that this game wouldn't end up happening. Cal did not have enough scholarship players to compete in this game. This marked the third game canceled for the Cougs this season. Those 3 games that have been canceled have come over the last 4 weeks too. The first 2 were because Washington State didn't have enough scholarship players to play against Stanford and Washington. Coronavirus cases on the Cougs was a major reason why those didn't get played. And then they lost last week to USC 38-13. And then, of course, today's game was a no-go. This technically marks the end of the regular season for the Cougs. However, WSU will play one more game against an opponent not yet determined next Saturday. It'll likely be a Pac-12 South Division team. Head coach Nick Rolovich was on the Cougs radio show after the game was called off, and he was pretty bummed.
To be honest with you, the thing that makes this one harder is I'm not sure we were mentally prepared better for any football game this year than we were today. And the excitement to play was there, especially after getting boat raced by USC in the first quarter last week. And I think they responded incredibly well.
The players reacted on social media. Star running back Max Borghi said, whenever we get our next shot, we will be ready. #hungry. Borghi was set to make his season debut today as the team posted a picture of his jersey in the locker room pregame on Instagram, and then Borghi commented on that post, "Let's go." The preseason Pac-12 Player of the Year selection will have to wait yet another week as he seems to have recovered from a back injury. Linebacker Jahad Woods tweeted out this gift of NBA player Jason Terry looking pretty unhappy after the game was canceled. Wide receiver Nard Bell simply put, "Wow." That was even before the news even broke, but he had the insider info. And then wide receiver Jameer Calvin tweeted an angry emoji. Some of the Washington State football players, though, found some positivity out of this dull moment. It had snowed on the Palouse, so some of the guys headed over to the practice field and had a snowball fight. You saw starting quarterback Jaden DeLora really get fellow quarterback Gunnar Cruz there with that snowball. And then they built a snowman, and it looked pretty good, too. DeLora tweeted this was the first snowman he has ever built. He is from Hawaii, and it does not snow there, so that news does check out. Well, for the Cougs, we'll see what happens next with them and their schedule and who they play next Saturday. That news should be coming out within the next 24 hours. For now, they're still 1-2 overall. That's all for sports.